Hello everyone, this is FlatLine, and today I'm going to be doing the second episode of the FlatLine Daily. And we're going to be understanding your position in the game. I think that's a very good title. We're going to understand, this is a very experience type of topic, in the sense that it takes experience from the game itself to actually understand your position in a game. Are you ahead? Are you even? Are you behind? And then from understanding your position in the game, you need to have a response to it. If you're ahead, you can get more ahead. Do you want to do a timing? Do you want to expand more? Do you want to push your tech even further? You want to get better upgrades? Are you behind? Okay, so how am I supposed to come back in the game? Do I need to do a hidden base? Should I rely on an oracle getting more, like 10 probe kills, or a dark shrine and send DTs at every base and hope that it does a lot of damage or catches them out of position or something like that? So we're going to be showcasing a game that I played against TT1. It's pretty well known in the community. And we're going to see his build. I believe he goes for a very quick expansion. We'll see here. There's Cyber on the way. Before we go into the game itself, let me tell you what my initial mindset is. I want to go for a DT expand into Robo, and then 2 gates, and then add a forge, and then play from there. It's pretty much what I want to do. TT1, I'm going to be opening up. Looks like he's going to go for a 21 Nexus. I might cancel this. He's going to cancel the Zealot. Come on. Yep, he does. 22 Zealot. 22 Nexus. There's my Mothership. There's my Twilight Council. Now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to spot, okay, Cyber's done. Nothing's coming out from TT1. Nexus is on, he's making a Mothership. He's got a second assembler being built. Confirmed a very quick expansion. Okay, so let's understand the scenario that we are in, or the position we are in. TT1 is going to have a faster expansion than me. So that means I either can try to play super greedy and try to get 3 Nexus immediately and hope for the best, or I can expand as well very quickly and then put on some kind of light harassment with DTs and try to see if I could get a kill, kill like 4 probes here or there, and then I should be fine. Right. And I see the second gateway, and I see him walling off like this. You okay? There we go. I'm gonna be expanding my Dark Shrine. Remember, DT expand. And I should be adding on a Robo. And I think what I do is I cut the second gate and add a Forge instead. Hopefully I do that, because that sounds so much better. There's gotta be a Robo. Yep. There's my Robo. Let's see how I go about things. I'm gonna chrono boost the Cyber. Like I said, I'm behind in economy already. So I need to do something to get either even in the game or get ahead. Obviously, it's better if I can get ahead. Alright, work gate's done. See a Forge on the way from TT1 here. And this is a pretty cool build from TT1. He's gonna rely on this little wall off to kind of help deal with DTs or anything like that. And on top of that, if it's like an oracle or something like that from from me. He has Photon Overcharge, he has 2 Stalkers as well. Like, he has the perfect amount of units that he wants. And you can see that DTs are not going to be able to get inside his base. He's just going to put the cannon over here, and pretty much should be fine from this. So what I want to do, understanding the scenario that I'm in, now I know I am behind. You can see the supply not in favor of me whatsoever. 34 probes to 31. So this DT here is pretty much not gonna go inside his base, but I want to have that threat that I'm trying to. So that way TT1 has to invest another additional 100 gas into sentries. Late game PvP, you don't want to have that many sentries. Like, if you want, the most you should have is like 2. But adding on, forcing another one out is really good. And on top of that, you want to try to force one more force field, because that way it will, he can't hallucinate for a while. And there we go. Now I'm just gonna back up. No reason to do anything. I'm gonna use my warp prism to try to pick them up, both of them, and drop over here. But you can see TT1 well prepared with cannons at both bases. He's also got +1 on the way, but +1 started way before me. So yeah, there's my 1 gate robo. Remember we said I want to go for 1 gate, expand, robo, add a 2nd gate, then forge. But because we saw the opening of my opponent, understanding the position and scenario of the game, I can cut the 2nd gateway and add on a quicker forge. That's not gonna work. So I lose not only the DTs, but I'm pretty sure I lose this warp prism. And now I'm super far behind, 700 minutes to 50. Sorry about that. And let's look. 44 close to 46. Okay, so we're gonna pause here. And we need to understand our position in the game. We are behind. How am I gonna get back in the game? How am I gonna get back in the game? It's obviously looking like I decide to go for a 3rd base really quickly in the game. And why is that? Why am I picking that decision over something else? Why don't I rely on like making a Stargate and get an Oracle, try to harass? Well, you give me a couple of seconds there to try to think for yourself. One, this is probably the easiest one. Say he has photon cannons at his mineral line. Chances of me able to kill off like 10 workers or something like that, highly unlikely. 2, the map. You want to look at the map and abuse it. This is probably the biggest map right now in the map pool. So it's really hard for him to go to the others, to go from his base to my base. Like, if he does that, then he's pretty much committed quite a bit into that. What's my units? I have only 1 observer. Oh my gosh. So that's the other risk that I was taking. I was cutting a lot of units early in the game in order to get this out. And TT1's gonna spot this. He's got a pylon on the way. He's got a 3rd on the way as well. But his is slightly later than mine. So there's my little advantage. My upgrade's slightly ahead of his as well. But look at his army. This is a pretty, compared to my army, it's way bigger. I only have an immortal and a sentry. And he has like 3 sentries, 4 zealots, and 2 stalkers. Can that actually do damage though? When he gets to my side of the map, I don't think so. I'm gonna have this Nexus done. I'm gonna have Photon Overcharge. I should be perfectly fine against it. Oops, the wrong one. Okay. Alright, so I'm going for Immortal Sentry. Not Immortal Sentry, Immortal Archon. And one of the ways, or one of the reasons why I like to go for this is that this composition actually allows you to go for a quicker Nexus than a Colossus player. But he actually got his Nexus slightly later than mine. And it's okay for him, even though he's going for Colossus, because he already had that advantage. So his advantage that he's trying to push is tech. Colossus is a better tech in the later stage of the game than Immortal Archon. That's kind of like known. He's powering up on gateways as well as I am. And you see that supply that was once a huge difference is now evening out. Probe count, pretty much even, pretty close. He's a little bit ahead. In PvP, you actually don't want to have that many probes though. Because if you have less probes, that means more for your army. So I'm not making any probes right now, and that's on purpose. I just want the gas at this point. Adding on my extra gates here. Oh, a Stargate. So I want Stargate in response to... Did I see his Colossus? Yeah. Wow, that was a bad camera. Skills. Alright, so I'm going for Stargate. Cool. I want to go for Tempest to deal with this. No. We're going to pause it here, and we need to understand our position in the game. Understand the scenario. Okay, right now I feel like we are pretty much nearly even, or the lead that he has is now shortened a little bit. I was able to get away with a quicker Nexus than him, and I have better upgrades, or my upgrades are quicker than his. The downside is the army composition. He has a better army composition in the sense that his Colossus count is going to get pretty high, to the point where if he does attack before I have my 5 Tempest, I'm going to take a lot of damage. If I'm able to get my 5 Tempest though, I will have the army advantage. So this is going to come down to timing. I'm also taking a hidden base here. And this is in retrospect to this scenario right here. If I'm not able to get my Tempest out on time, should I engage his army? And the answer is no. Why engage an army when you already know that you're going to lose to it, right? If you know you're going to lose to their army, the best decision is not to engage his army. Plain and simple. So what do you do then? Well, go for a counterattack. Go for a base trade. A base trade is way better than engaging his army and waiting for the inevitable. You know, when you go for a base trade, things get hectic. The guy might make a wrong decision and you make the right decision, and you end up with the win. There's so many games where I do that, by the way. But yeah, you have to understand that if you have a worse army than them, don't engage the army and try to find a way where you can go for a base trade. If you want to go, if you're that desperate for the win, or if you want to win. Not desperate, that's actually a bad word to say. If you want to win, that's what you want to do. Okay, the other thing, the reason why I want to get this base anyways is, you know, in the later stage, like almost every game or almost every matchup, in the later stage it's all about the gas count. So more gas for Protoss, the better. And you get the better, you know, GCR army. So I'm gonna get the Oracle, got my second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon on the way. That way my Oracle can cast Revelation on his army. So that way my Tempest can actually, you know, do its damage here. So is this army scary for me? Yeah, it's 140 to 112. Somehow he spiked up in supply compared to me. And the reason why is that, actually just thinking about, I'm investing later in the stage because I added that second Stargate. I'm waiting for me to get up to that 5 Tempest so I can deal with his army. Once I get to that 5 Tempest, this supply should be pretty close. And on top of that, I'm also expanding at the top left here. So that's another investment that I don't have. But still, can he engage my army? Can he engage my army? And the answer is actually no. The Photon Overcharge is going to help quite a bit. I also have my 2 Archons. I mean, he does have his additional Archons as well. But look at that, they're all in the back. So it's going to take a while for them to actually do its damage. While my Archons are near the front, so it's going to be able to do some pops. He actually repositioned his units there. That's actually really, really good for him. Okay, we're going to pause it here. We need to understand the position that we're in. Alright? Look at this. Is this at any way possible a good position for me? No. But let's look at the units tab. What is missing from him? What is missing from him? An observer. I actually sniped his observer pretty early in the game, knowing this position was really bad for me. Because this flank right here was really good. So once I realized he doesn't have an observer, guess what I'm gonna do? Go with my last resort. DTs. I have my Dark Shine. There's my DTs getting worked in. Are they not gonna go to them? Oh, I thought you click and they go to them. Alright, so he's gonna lose all these zealots. And in return, he's gonna keep most of his army still alive. And he kills my base. He loses all of his zealots. I don't want to lose these Dark Templars. I want to keep them alive as much as possible. Q. Alright, now we're going to understand our position in the game right now. Understanding our scenario. It's not the best, right? I mean, look at my army, it's pretty poor. But my Tempest count's starting to get high. It's starting to get up to that magic number 5. And once I get up to 5 Tempests, I should be able to deal with this army. If I'm able to get a decent ground army. Because this Colossus is going to be dead weight. If I micro this correctly here. Now, understanding the position that I'm in, if he engages before I could get 5 Tempests out, the best solution is to start observer sniping him and then just send DTs at him. That's pretty much the best case scenario. My army's kind of stuck. I can't engage his army. I wish I could go for a base raid, but it looks like I can't. So this is one of those points where you do have to, you want to try to move this army back and not engage his army and try to force him to retreat. And to force him to retreat is by using or sniping his observer and warping in DTs. But here comes my 3rd and 4th Tempest, and now we're getting close to that 5 number. And that's when I can try to pop off some of these Colossus as soon as possible. Alright, I gotta remake my Oracle because it ended up dying. But now I'm getting up to that magic number 5 Tempest here. And that's where his army lead starts to go towards my favor because I'm going to have a better army composition than him. Adding on Immortals. Got my Oracle. There's my 5th Tempest. So now the only concern that I have is my ground army. I need to make sure I can compete with his ground. I don't have to worry about the Colossus. The Colossus are going to die. But besides the Colossus, can I engage everything else? So open up the Units tab. He has 21 Zealots, 6 Archons, 5 Stalkers, and a Sentry. That's pretty much what I'm going to be dealing with. He has more Zealots, more Archons. He doesn't have any Immortals. That's the good thing. And that's about it. So my ground army is not going to work well with his. I need to add more stuff to it. There we go, adding on more Archons. I'm gonna cast a Revelation on this. Now we're gonna pause it here. Now let's look at the supply, and you can look at the army itself. This is not ground army versus ground army. I'm going to end up losing, right? So what can I do? Or what should I do? I can't go for a base trade. I've been speaking so highly of it. In this game, I wasn't really able to because he's been pressuring me since the dawn of times. What I want to do, or what I can do, is focus the Colossus and sack my Tempest. What is the purpose of the Tempest besides killing the Colossus? Once all the Colossus are dead, these Tempests become as good as sentries in the late stage of PvP. They don't really do that much DPS against non-massive units. That's considered A. So you can see I'm trying to pull back my ground army while I kill off all of his Colossus here. Yeah, I'm losing all my Tempests. Look at this, his Zealots are now isolated from his army. And now, look at the supply. We are now even. Let's look over here. It's more Zealots, almost the same amount of Archons, 3 Immortals though, and 5 Stalkers for him. Who has the better ground army now? I do. I have the better ground army. And now I can overpower him. And he does kill off this base. I forgot he was harassing here. Like I said, the less probes you have, the better, because don't take that too hard. Obviously, you do want to have some kind of economy, but in the later stage of the game, once you have where at one point where you hit 3 base fully saturation and you're getting close to max, you want to have less supply in the worker count and more into the army count. So I have 42 probes, he has 68 probes. He has a better economy, but I'm going to have a bigger army once we get max. Like if it's max on max, he's going to end up losing because I'm going to have over 20 supply difference in him. So I still have my initial Tempests here. They didn't really die. He doesn't have any Colossus here. Now we're going to go ahead and engage. I have a better army than him. You see my Archon count compared to his, really different. That's pretty much the biggest difference is the Archon count. The Tempest army they're doing is just like feather damaging, feather type damage dealing, so and things are just not looking good for this guy. I mean, there's really nothing he can do. It's really hard for him. He said ideally he probably would have gone for a base shot if he could. But he can't. No pylons on my side of the map. And yeah, so I mean, this is a pretty good example of understanding the position in your game and trying to figure out ways you can get back into the game or gain the lead. As I'm pretty much win. I think he GG's once I get over here. And there's the GG from TT1. So to recap, in this game we were behind. So I needed to take some kind of way. We acknowledged I was behind. The harass really didn't do anything at all. In fact, I lost a lot of resources into that investment. Get a quick third because of the map itself. It's really hard for him to go across the map and deal damage, which made me have a slight economic advantage against him towards the mid-late stage of the game. But he had a better army composition than me. He had the better tech. So I tried to skip. I went straight for Tempest. That way I can get the better army composition than him. But when you go for Tempest against Colossus, there's that timing window. You know, right when you don't have 5 Tempests, if you have like a 1 Tempest or you're just getting your fleet beacon just finished, that timing right there around that time is when the Colossus player has a huge advantage and hit a pretty good timing, which TT1 did. If he had an observer, I'm pretty sure I would have lost. But that's once again another thing. Understanding the position of your game. He had a better army than me, and he crushed my army because my army wasn't really able to go outside my base because I felt pressured. He kept on pressuring me with, you know, whatever units he had, and it kind of kept me on the back foot. So that was really good by him. But since I saw that he didn't have any observers, I was just gonna kill him with DTs. If he attacked when I had only 2 Tempests at that stage of the game, I think. Let's see if we can get to that point in the game. I think this is where it was at when I have 2 Tempests. Yeah. So if he did go for this engagement here, his army would crush my ground army. But the 2 Tempests that I have, I would just go for observer sniping. The range on this is insane. So I just need to have some kind of detection with the observer, and then I should be fine. I think it takes 2 shots. Oh, look, did they get armor for this? Okay, so they don't have any armor. Yeah. So it takes 2 shots, or 2 Tempest shots, to kill an observer, which I have with my 2 Tempests. So that's pretty much my mindset. I'm just gonna work in DTs to hold this, if he ever does go for the push. And I think he kind of knows that, which is why he's not really pushing up against this. So that kind of kept me back in the game. The DTs kind of kept me back in the game. This hidden base right here is helping quite a bit when it comes to getting that better army composition. Remember, we're trying to expand our army composition to make it better than his, so that way I can be aggressive with my army and kill him. I think that's the best recap I could do. But anyways, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please follow me on Twitch and Twitter, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. You can check out my website at flatlinese2.com, where it's a little bit more structured, a little bit more organized, where you can find some pretty cool stuff, Protoss related most likely, and obviously related to me. But anyways, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, suggestions, feedbacks, please feel free to put it in the comment section below, and I will try to respond to it as soon as possible. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you later.